Well, can this praise continue? We'll ask ourselves. We move on now to a gentleman who I was only aware of vaguely, but not musically, I suppose.
Okay.
John Grant. The reason I was aware of him at all is because this is his second solo album,
Yes.
and his first solo album was didn't particularly sell very well, but was scored very highly with critics and cropped up on a lot of best album of the year lists a few years back. Before that, I think he was in a band called The Stars, who again I'm not really familiar with.
On that point, I was very surprised to read, and we'll come to this in a moment, that first solo album was very much a folk album.
Yes. Well, yes, which obviously I'll get onto, which is not to say there aren't moments of that on here, but yes, he is a man that's obviously not afraid to move out of his comfort zone, shall we say. So John Grant, Pale Green Ghosts. What do we think of Mr. Grant?
Again, I think it was in the opening chords of Pale Green Ghosts where the classic 1980s synthesizers kicked in.
Yeah, I was thinking Prince Sign of the Times.
And I thought this album could have been made, and sounds like it could have been made 30 years ago. It was just, certainly in places, an absolute joy to listen to. Completely pure electronic music, but applied in an alternative fashion. As you say, could have been Prince, could have been Royd Scott. You remember them from about 10 years ago?
Yeah.
You know, so certainly a Scandinavian influence as well.
In fact, I think
he's Iceland now, isn't he?
Iceland, yeah. He's recorded with a guy from one of the bands in Iceland.
And it still has that sort of, alternative outlet throughout it. I think Sinead O'Connor features.
She does. She provides backing vocals on a number of the tracks.
A number of the tracks, exactly. A very personal album as well. Again, a very lyrically strong.
Yeah, I love this album.
This is an album I will return to once we're done and dusted. I know I say that every time, but actually on this occasion I do mean it, because I was completely drawn into the world he created, and the more the further the album progresses, the more you realise what a personal world that is as well. He talks a lot about his personal experiences, a lot about his former love life. His current situation as well.
Yes, HIV.
He is HIV positive. So it's an album of regrets, but it's also an album of celebration.
Yeah, I think that sums it up quite nicely. I was same with you. This is an album that I will certainly be listening to again, and in fact have gone back to in the last couple of days a couple of times. Quite simply because the quality of the songwriting is so good, and the lyrics are great. Again, I had to write down some of these because there was a couple of bits that I just loved. And the second track, Black Belt, which is there's a great couplet in it, which is hit your head on the playground at recess, etch a sketch your way out of this one, reject.
Yes.
And I'm thinking that's just a genius line. Etch a sketch your way out of this one. I just thought, that's the kind of thing. If anyone out there that actually has ever tried writing songs and stuff will appreciate the fact that that's the kind of thing you would, if you wrote that, you would just sit back and kind of put your feet up and go, my work here is done.
Wow.
Excellent.
There's a later reference to Agent Orange in the track Vietnam as well.
Yes, science is a weapon like a nuclear bomb, yeah.
Which is just the way he brings in Agent Orange and then encapsulates Vietnam as a backdrop to the song. It's just genius.
Yeah, and also you got the Why Don't You Love Me Anymore, which is again about being left by someone, so again being in a relationship and left, which comes back to at the end in Glacier at the end as well, which apologies for swearing here, but the lyrics kind of go, I hate this fucking town, you can't even leave your fucking house without running into someone who no longer cares about you. Which again I just thought was a lovely kind of sentiment and the kind of feeling that we've all been through if you've been in that relationship and the person you're going out with still kind of like lives in your neighbourhood or whatever. But yeah, this is an album that made me want to check out the previous album that all the critics raved about, actually, to see, because you're thinking if the quality of that first album was anywhere near this, then I'm not surprised that it was a hit with the critics. And again, on the strength of listening to this, I wouldn't be surprised to find this album also cropping up on critics' lists come the end of the year.
Certainly deserves to be.